Namaste, this is Aisha, and welcome to my latest video, Embracing Your Ascension Portal. And today I would first like to thank you for having taken the time and effort to go through my videos. If you haven't already, please do so, because you won't really understand what I'm trying to say unless you have watched the last few videos, because it's all connected. It's like a topic. Well, today I wanted to talk specifically about embracing your ascension portal, which, well, if you have been following my videos, as I said, you would understand what an ascension portal is. We're going through a global shift, and we're all expected to ascend by 2025. So which means some of us may go earlier, some may not. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about how you can basically remove any fears or doubts, confusion surrounding this whole shift. See, ascension, as opposed to what is predicted in many scriptures and other systems, does not mean that it's akin to some kind of judgment day where those who do good will, will ascend and the others will be left behind. Well, let's tweak it a little bit. It cannot be that some of us are left behind and only a few go, because we're all part of the same evolution. We're all part of the same one consciousness. So if you think about it logically, each one of us contributes to the one consciousness through our incarnations, and therefore each one of us is important. Regardless of where you stand at this point, or where you will be by the time you have to ascend, you are still important. Every one of us is important. Everyone matters. So now that we're coming down to the topic of the ascension portal, what is an ascension portal? An ascension portal is like a wormhole. See, because with the veil thinning between our realm and the astral plane, which, as I said in the previous video, is going to be the new 5D Earth, because this realm that we're in is incapable of producing that kind of vibration for us to sustain. Well, because it is necessary for us to exit. Now, if you look at the concept of birth and death here, you will understand that most of the times we all have a certain time span, a lifespan as we call it. So after that point, we all have to leave. So nobody basically gets to stay here forever. We all have to leave, because this is not home. This is like a school structure. We come here to learn from many dimensions. We learn, we share, we do so many things, and then we leave. All right? And some of us come many times here as well. So when we have to leave, it's usually necessary, well, mostly necessary, to shed our shell, which is our 3D body, physical body, to shed it here, because it cannot be transported as it is to the 5D. And the reason why death occurs in our dimension is when a soul has reached the maximum limit of evolution for a particular incarnation, the body, the physical body, cannot contain the evolved soul in its shell, and therefore it has to eject it. So that is the process that humans, as when we are here in this realm, we refer to it as death. Okay? So death is basically a transformation that requires a soul to change from one form to the other based on the requirement or the necessity to do so, to move on to the next realm. So why is it any different with Ascension? You see, when this the reason why we even come here is to evolve. Now, evolution is the one that requires us to go through a process called death as well, because death is a part of evolution. So you cannot remove one from the other. But with ascension, evolution pauses, which means we will not be required to leave the same way as in when we're still evolving from one lifetime to the other. Okay? So as we move on to the next level, as we ascend, which means we're pretty much evacuating this realm to go to the next one, what basically happens is we are pushed to a point through our spirit guides, supported by the divine in our own individual ways based on our missions to ascend. Not all of us will ascend through death. It won't be required unless your particular mission requires that you do so. So no, not everybody will have to ascend and do so with death. Alright? There will be ascension portals. Ascension portals are like doorways that lead us to the higher plane. These doorways are mostly available to everyone. Okay? They're available to everyone, and with the thinning of the veil, as I have shared a few videos earlier today on Facebook, there have been reports by people across the world about seeing portals in the air, seeing portals in the skies, around them. So they are opening up for all of us. They will. We will all be given an equal opportunity to move on. But are we prepared for this change? Are we prepared to just drop everything and disappear? Well, not all of us, right? We all have our attachments here, our families, things that we have grown up and had plans for, and whatever, our lifestyles, our ways of beliefs, everything. Not everybody's just going to be so happy to see a portal and just run right to it. We won't. So that's understandable. And so nobody's going to be forced to do this. Alright? But eventually we will all have to evacuate, because this realm will no longer be able to support humanity as it has to restore itself, as it evolves in its own next level. So with ascension portals, now not everybody is going to be able to process the information that I'm about to share too well, but I'm leaving this message behind anyway, because I am in the hope that I'm supposed to put this information out here so that at some point people will see it. At some point someone will watch this. At some point they will be able to resonate this with any experience that they are yet to face. So I believe that the universe always puts people into certain spaces to deliver certain messages, as it has over ages, to be able to help others. And I am hoping that this information would help you at some point. Now, I'm not saying that whatever I say here is right and whatever everyone else says is wrong. You need to just take this information and process it intuitively in your own way, as and when you experience this. How will one face a portal, an ascension portal, to begin with? What does it look like? Well, I don't have a diagram or anything to show you, but I believe if you go through the videos that I have shown, I've shared on Facebook, you would be able to get an idea of how a portal looks like. It probably can fill up a space of a doorway or much bigger. It could be made out of mist, it could be made out of just pure light. I do not know. There are many different kinds of portals, and also depending on your own dimension where you come from. I mean, each one has a different way. So when these portals open, you most likely will be drawn to them, not because the portal opens up, but because you will see way more than you expected. You will see possibly loved ones who have passed on, loved ones of yours. You may meet any particular ascended master that you're drawn to. There could be anyone who will be more than happy to show you that it's safe to walk through. What in the case if you're not ready to walk through? Well, the portal will remain. It won't be obviously seen by everyone else, because the portal is entirely for you, unless your family is supposed to travel with you. Now, where will this portal open up? I do not know. For most cases, I believe it will open in our very own homes, because that's the place we feel safest to do so. But there will also be portals opened throughout the world, in many random places, okay? Now, so these portals will most likely be in your home, all right? And where can you expect to find it? How can you even get to a point where you can start embracing the whole ascension process and the portal? See, how you can probably identify it is most likely your portal will open up in the one space in your house which you feel safest in, which you're most comfortable in. If you are a person who meditates regularly, that space will be your portal or your altar, most likely. So you would know that the particular space in your house would feel lighter. The energy is much lighter than the rest of your house. You will also notice that the space, the vibration is much more different and uplifting. A place where you find peace, you find your calmness, a place where you feel the soothing energy that helps you to think clearly, to be able to get into a moment of silence if you need it. So it could be your altar, it could be wherever in the house that you're most comfortable in. Now that's always the first priority here. The second thing is, how can you possibly embrace it? Well, first you have to accept and embrace the concept before you start embracing your portal. How do you embrace the concept? Say, you are not going to be forced into this at any point of time, because we're still evolving until we have to leave. You have to remember that. You and I will still be evolving. We will still be going about doing whatever we need to do on a need basis while we're here, until the moment arrives where we can leave. So until then, I don't believe any one of us will be forced. We will be persuaded. We will be, I believe, loved is a better word of saying it, better way of saying it. Loved. We will be loved in a way that we will be charmed. We will be, so excited. We will be fascinated by the experiences that precede the whole event. So it won't be like you're shoved out there into some portal. It won't happen that way. Now, what about the people who don't want to go? What about the people who refuse to go? What about the people who are rebellious or do not believe in this? Well, there's always a way Spirit finds to figure that one out, so we don't have to worry about it. All right? Each one of us has a spirited guide, many spirit guides, whether we believe it or not, and there will always be divine guidance and support based on our own missions and evolution along the way. So don't worry about that. How do you embrace it? Well, as I said, first you need to accept. The events that unfold around us every day will intensify. And definitely we have come to almost the end of 2020. 2021 is not going to be dramatically easier. In fact, it will be a little more intense than 2020, as is meant to be. All right? So if it has been calmer in your part of the world after COVID, or COVID itself has been stagnating in your part of the world, well, you will come across situations that will shake your foundation a little bit early next year. So you can expect that. But the rest of the countries who are already still facing a lot of turmoils, well, I believe it won't be much different now, but it will start to escalate around middle of next year. Now, the thing is, as the events unfold, as you start to see more and more of things that are going around you, let me tell you one thing. If you start to look at it from a 3D perspective, in fear, in hatred, in confusion, in stress, then it will be a little tougher on you. to be able to ascend, because to ascend, one of the primary factors that you need to have is a high vibration. Not a phenomenally high vibration, but something that really is suitable for you to ascend with. So to be able to see and feel and experience these amazing divine manifestations that are yet to unfold for us, we need to be in a high vibration, because whatever is in the astral plane is definitely in a higher vibration. And even though the veil is thinning, it would definitely help if you can see everything clearly as opposed to a fuzzy picture. Because those who don't see above and are constantly buried in some kind of rabbit hole in the 3D, you will not be able to see whatever's happening on top. Alright? So I guess I covered that one. So what happens is, when you are witnessing all of these things that are going on around you, what would be the default thing that goes on in your mind? I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this world. I'm so tired of what's going on. You know, we're all exhausted. We're all confused. We're all stressed. We don't know where this is going to go. The world no longer seems to be where it was. And it won't be going that way either. So what is the most common expression? What is the most common perspective that we will develop in each one of us? Exhaustion. Mental exhaustion. Physical exhaustion. Everything will bow down to, well, I just am tired. I'm tired of it all, you know? So when you think of it from that perspective, most of us will be in that perspective by the time we have to ascend. You've just had enough of it all. You just want to rest someplace. You'll start to get homesick for your dimension, for your tribe, for a better space, however you perceive it at that point. And that there is followed by detachment. You detach yourself mentally from everything because you don't want to take this anymore. So if you've watched my video on Ascension signs, you will be able to understand and pick up some of the signs that I have mentioned over there, which I have been experiencing too. So you're not in this alone, we all are. And I'm just doing my bit to help anyone out there who doesn't understand what is going on with them. And now that you understand what it takes, an uplifted vibration, you need to spend more time sitting with yourself alone and be in that space where you feel lightest, where you feel that you would love your portal to be, whether it's in your home, in your yard, wherever it is, that little space of yours, you manifest the portal. So you see, you do have some kind of control. You feel comfortable assessing the entire portal in a way that you feel good about it. The entire process does not have to be so out of your hands, if you know what I mean. We still have the free will to manifest it in a way we want it to manifest, to embrace that experience. Because to be very honest, none of our souls would have experienced something of this kind in ages. And I'm talking about many, many incarnations ago. Maybe some of us would have never experienced this. I don't know. You may not even remember it. Those who've been through Atlantis and Lemuria, you might remember it. And some other dimensions which have expired, like this planet will. So I feel that you will be able to remember it, recalling your experiences. But Ascension portals still, I am not sure if Lemuria and places like Atlantis really had that option, but here we do, and I think we should be extremely grateful to the Divine for having bestowed these blessings on us this time around. So the least we can do is make it easier for ourselves and others around us to be able to ascend without making too much of a fuss, because all we're really doing is going back home to the grandest reunion of all times. Yes, where none of us will be having to miss anyone because everybody's going to be on the same side at the same time for once. So you keep your eyes on the goal, just like I'm keeping my eyes on the goal. It doesn't mean that I'd stop living. I am very much living, and I will till the last breath I take. So the point here is how to embrace your ascension portal. Spend as much time as possible in your portal. Embrace the experience into your higher self, into your very being. Become a part of the process. It will take you to wherever you need to be. And at this point, if you feel drawn to any particular crystals to work with, you need to incorporate that into your meditation practices. Use them, create a grid, if you will, within the Ascension portal. All right, any space that in your house that you feel most comfortable with, manifest it.